Welcome back to the Players Tour Finals, everybody. I'm Ailey Loney alongside Corey Baumeister, and we are getting so close to finding out who our champion is. Corey, up next, we do have Michael Jacob versus Alan Wu. It is a rematch. Corey, what's your prediction for this one?
Well, I am still going with 100%. I've gotten every single matchup wrong that I've picked so far. I'm gonna make the same pick and take MJ because it is the matchup he is supposed to win. But he did lose already to Alan Wu. But to quote Cedric, MJ all the way, baby.
All right, well, let's see if he can pull something out of the deck from Winota, because that's exactly what he wants to do, right? I was going to say rabbit out the hat, but there's no rabbits in this list as we get underway here between Alan Wu on Team of Reclamation and Michael Jacob on Mardu Winota. Take a look at that opening hand there. That's a lot of land, and you can tell he doesn't like it.
Yeah, neither one of them are in love with their hands, but Michael Jacob was just keeping some nice sevens the last few matchups, and you can just tell he is like, Alan Wu is a curse at this point. I can't keep a good hand against him.
I just love his expressions. They just make me laugh the whole time. He just seems shaking the head there, his eyes wide in dismay as he sends back one of these venerated Loxodon. Hey, at least he's got something to do.
Yeah, this one, I mean, I think you have to keep it. And if you were to draw, raise the alarm or any 2-drop, at least your hand is doing something pretty powerful, but not great. Not great, that's for sure.
I mean, to be fair, Alan's hand isn't exactly much better with 2 copies of Wilderness Reclamation. At least we do have the shark, so we can cycle through to find something useful, but still... Oh, hey, look at that. It's raised the alarm.
Called that one.
You did.
Right, that was huge for Michael Jacob. Now, I mean, just that one spell to be able to play on curve here just swings the advantage bar right back.
Sure does, as we see raise the alarm on the stack. Did see a stop there, so he's going to be suspicious of something as we find Selfless Savior. Nice, off the top of the library as well. So we can get a pretty big venerated Loxodon turn here.
Yeah, whenever you top deck a 1-drop in a turn where you could already play venerated Loxodon, it just feels like Christmas morning.
Oh, yes. Indeed. Cherry on top for sure. As we see these little creatures get just a tiny bit bigger, we're going to cycle this shark, make a little itty-bitty baby shark, just a 1-1, finds the Triumph off the top, and a Fabled Passage. That is so much land here for Alan Wu.
Yeah, this is brutal. And these are these small game aspects, like where Winota is not being played, where Aether Gust is basically a dead card, where these 2/2 sharks and stuff like that just aren't enough to keep up with venerated Loxodon. The hand of Alan Wu is completely fine against a specifically Winota draw because you have that Aether Gust, but against a Loxodon draw, it is much worse.
So what's the play here? Do we go for another Loxodon just to buff up our team even more, or we just start swinging?
I mean, we have been seeing MJ do this, whenever there are non-sweepers in the main deck, is just always just build the bigger and better board repeatedly. Now, when you're up against one Wilderness Reclamation already, and they could play another one and just have a ton of mana, it becomes a little bit more risky. But I would think we just build up another battlefield here. Maybe attack with the 4/4 at best.
Yeah, because that would dodge any potential Shark Typhoons. That's what we're going to see here. Just the venerated Loxodon swinging in, saying, all right, you want to chump block? Go for it. Otherwise, 4 points of damage will get through.
The only thing I don't love about this play is what if Alan Wu had a mystical dispute here? You're going to feel really bad for leaving those creatures at home. So I would have loved to see that Woe Strider be played pre-combat just to see if it's there. Then if it is there, you get to attack for 6 extra power here.
Yeah.
So maybe a small misstep that he didn't get punished for, but still looking great for MJ.
It's not looking like anything is going to punish this board right now, so let's see what we can find. There is an Uro, Titan Nature's Wrath, so that'll get Alan a few more looks at the top of the library, pad the life total a tiny bit, but he's got to be thinking now, okay, how the heck do I win this game?
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's going to be dead on the backswing exactly. He could make one giant shark to block one of these Loxodons, chump the other Loxodon, and then you barely stay alive. But from there, Alan Wu is trying to map that out exactly, and it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, also, Blaststone, as good as it is against like small creatures, the 1-drops and whatnot, they do nothing against these tokens, so... You know, that land, as useful as it is in certain matchups, it's not very good in this one that you know, utilizes so many tokens.
MJ's just having
Look at
the
him.
time of his life down there.
He is.
Just the most facial expression vocal player I have ever seen on one of these broadcasts. This has been fun to watch.
Look at him.
We thought Alan
man.
Wu's cam was the best and the most entertaining thing to happen so far,
Well.
but it's definitely MJ.
Here we see a second Wilderness Reclamation committed to the battlefield, so likely going to see the big old shark while keeping up the Ether Gust for a potential Winota. No Uro this time around. We'll see the big old Titan a little later, no doubt.
I kind of like that here. What Alan Wu is basically saying is, I really need to play a couple more spells before Uro can even be brought back. So trying to set up, maybe putting a couple more spells into the yard, and then next turn, it's lined up pretty perfectly if we can get a blue source to be able to go Uro plus escape it.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that is a little rough because you have Mountain and Blast Zone. That's actually really holding you back from that play. So, yeah, not great
Ooh.
here.
Hey, Nightpack Ambusher. Okay, so extra bodies for the board that don't immediately end up in the graveyard
Yup.
for Alan. Let's survive this turn first, though, as we find Selfless Savior off the top of the library. You're a good boy, little pupper, but we would have liked to have seen Winota.
Yep, exactly. But right here, you just see MJ just in jam mode because, well, has the information that there are no sweepers. So being able to just play all your spells is a huge advantage.
Oh, yeah. Swinging in here, the Woe Strider is at the mercy of a shark, but Selfless Savior will jump in the way here to protect it. Unless is he happy to just let this go? What do you think?
I would think you just value the bigger creature here and you would save it.
Down to 2 goes Alan. Ooh, this is not looking very good.
Yeah, that is, it honestly just doesn't matter if you save the Woe Strider or not. I just think no matter what, this board is going to be too hard to overcome.
Yeah, another Wilderness Reclamation off the top. It's great if you've got something to do with it, you know, scries or expansion explosions to clear some things off this battlefield, but this is just looking pretty dire now for Alu as he is getting beat down on by this Marty Winota deck with no Winota to, you know, to be seen. It's just all creatures, all value. Venerated Loxodon is just pulling its weight immensely.
No kidding. And right here, I mean, we have Nightpack Ambusher plus Blow Up Blast Zone for 1, which will deal with the Selfless Savior, but that's only dealing with 3 creatures essentially, and that is leaving 5 creatures unchecked. I just don't see a way that this works out for Alan for game number 1.
Looking insurmountable at this point as he goes through the motions here, gets as many things down on the battlefield as he can, does have the Nightpack Ambusher he can deploy. But yeah, just 2 blockers against an entire army. It's not looking super good here for him.
Yeah, and Expansion Explosion was just lethal here, which is really unfortunate for Alan Wu not finding one so far, but that attack plus 21 mana, you know, that could have been an explosion for 17 plus the 6 from the shark, so a little unfortunate that he hasn't seen one this late in the game.
It's got Blast Zone ticking, gonna take out some of these creatures. Venerated Loxodon, most likely the target. Floating all the mana. QQ, but no Pew Pew, unfortunately, for Alan Wu.
Is that at 5? Okay, all right, we're
Yep.
taking out both Loxodons.
Selfless Savior can take, can protect one of them. Looks like we're just going for the Woe Strider. Oh, a Nota. Okay, Alan, please let us see some triggers, because it's so much fun when it does. I mean, I know it's not fun for you,
Yeah.
but still, it's...
It's definitely fun for us, Alias. It's
Yes.
definitely fun for us.
But there is Ether Gust in hand, so Alan will, you know, get a stay of execution there at the hands of Winota at least. But you got to think that these creatures are big enough to get the job done. What, we got 2 blockers here?
Yeah.
Still a
Yep.
bunch of damage going through. Yeah, we still lethal here for Michael Jacob.
Winota or not, it is
Yeah,
just,
Winota or not.
going to be GG here.
Winota's just like the icing on the cake. So he lets it resolve. Knows that his time is up. Ethergust gonna send it away anyway.
I do like Alan Wu's tactic of always letting it resolve and then immediately Aether Gusting it, giving some false hope to anybody playing it.
There's a little bit of a mind game going on there as we see the attack for everything in. No block standard. Michael Jacob picks up a very convincing game number 1.
Yes, that is exactly like Michael Jacob drew it up the last time they played. There was a lot of unfortunate circumstances that led to Alan not winning that game, or to Michael Jacob not winning that one. So definitely a more ideal start for Michael Jacob here.
For sure. So going into game number 2 here, what is the sideboard plan for Michael Jacob?
I mean, I guess you just take out some of your medium-ish creatures here, like Lazotep Reaver. It's so tough sideboarding with these Mardu Winota decks because it's just all creatures across the board. So it feels like one of these things where you shave numbers here and there because you want to draw a good mix of all your creatures. So we see like one Venerated Loxodon going into the sideboard because you do not want to draw a ton of those when they do have sweepers on the other side. So just kind of shaving numbers seems to make sense to me.
All right, well, shave away is what we've done. Let's get back into this game here. Just a reminder to everyone who's watching, if you just joined us, these players are fighting for their lives in this tournament. If one of them loses, they are going home, in inverted commas, as they're already home. So, they get to go and hang out on the couch and watch the rest of the broadcast with the rest of us.
Exactly. Ooh, that's a lot of lands.
That is a lot.
Already on a mulligan alias, so it's kind of a forced feat.
Yep. But, we got Uro and we got Wilderness Reclamation, so now it's just a case of, all right, let's find our heavy hitters, the haymakers. Let's find Expansion Explosion and the things that'll keep us alive in this matchup, or get this game over quickly, because, Michael Jacob is jamming. He's just loving it. It's like, yes, please. I love this hand. And rightly so, because that is terrifying if you're Alan Wu. Look at that. So many creatures. Loxodon in hand. We've got General Kudro, too, to take care of Uro. So, ooh, boy.
And just drew that third land. The third land is huge for Michael Jacob here to make sure you can curve out. And, I mean, we have one of these powerful Loxodon plays already lined up. Raise the Alarm next turn with that third land, just generates 8 power for 1 mana with Venerated Loxodon. That is just unreal.
It's absolutely insane. And just finding more and more gas. Look at this. More Lazotep Reavers, more Raise the Alarms, just everything going. Mystical Dispute's gonna say, no thank you. You don't get to play that right now. So gonna have to, get some extra creatures down before we can start having some fun with Loxodon. But this is going very, very well so far for Michael Jacob.
Definitely, and right now, I mean, we have Wilderness Reclamation that we can play, but we don't get to abuse the mana at all, not even a Scribe at Castle Vantress yet, so it's really setting up, and Alan Wu is just praying to see an Expansion Explosion, because Alan just had to expect that there was Loxodon. Why else would you play Raise the Alarm during your main phase? So just knew it was coming, and recognizing it's time to top deck some stuff if you're Alan Wu.
Oh, these Mystical Disputes are not what Alan needs. He needs to find the sweepers. He needs to find Expansion Explosion. Uro can keep him alive a little bit longer, draw some cards, but hey, there's a General Kudro, and General Kudro likes exiling things from graveyards.
Yeah, no kidding. That kind of hidden mode on the card. And we also just don't see many sweepers in Alan Wu's list. I mean, we see 1 Flame Sweep, 1 Storm's Wrath, and then a bunch of Scorching Dragonfires. That is not really going to catch you up in this situation.
Not at all, especially with these creatures getting larger and larger as this game goes on.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Not a great spot here for Alan Wu to be in, but Michael Jacob is loving it right now. Finds Bazzi's Lieutenant off the top of the library. Don't really want to be drawing those cards, but you know what? It's gas. We're just putting our foot down and going at this point.
Yep, and Alan Wu even had to take 2 damage there to make sure that he could get a scry in, as well as, protect himself a little bit with a Mystical Dispute. So nice sequencing there to be able to maximize the good draws that you can have next turn.
Yeah, land on top of the library, not something that you want to find.
No, not at all. 2 on top.
Growth Spiral, I think?
I believe it's an Uro on top.
Uro, yeah.
So we'll see what's under it. I would imagine it's got to be some way to interact with creatures. Otherwise, you're just dead.
Well, yes, when you put it like that. Here's a big old swing in, nothing coming from Alan Wu, not even the tiny shark to get in the way of one of these massive creatures, down to 7. Now the question is, do we go for the overkill for Michael Jacob, or we're in a pretty good position here if we're Michael to just sit back and see what happens, right? Because, I mean, that's lethal next turn.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, the play you really want to make here is Basri's Lieutenant, because it's the only thing that insulates you from a Storm's Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, of course, that's the juicy mystical dispute target that Alan Wu was hoping for.
I mean, hey, that's one less card in hand, right?
Yeah, left a Fabled Passage on top, so that's gotta signify to me that it is Uro being escaped this turn as well. I can't see the exact number of cards in graveyards, but that's the only thing it could mean. So I'm guessing we're gonna see Uro here, and then knock the top of the deck.
Yep. Well, let's see what we can find. So back up to 13. Big old body on the battlefield. Evades General Kudrow, so that's a pretty big deal here for Alan Wu.
Yep. And Michael Jacob didn't really have an opportunity to get that Uro out of there anyways with that mystical dispute. So a little unfortunate there, but all right, some interaction on the top. This may not be completely over.
Yeah, no. Alan Wu is fighting his way back into this. Wants to stay in this Players' Tour finals. Wants to be the champion. Now, what is the play here for Michael? 4 lands, so a little bit starved in the mana department. But what do you picture as the best line of play here for him?
Yeah, this is tricky. I think I would lean with one of the 3 drops, but I could also see both of the 2 drops being played. I wouldn't want to overextend too much into Storm's Wrath. That feels like the only way that I would lose the game if I'm in Michael Jacob's seat. But any of your plays aren't that strong against Storm's Wrath anyways, so you probably just have to just continue to flood the board.
Was just looking at that Lazatep Reaver, deciding if he wanted to go for it. Does eventually commit another little critter to the battlefield, growing that army token. And again, swing.
Beefing up the creature just a little bit here, getting that extra point of damage in.
Scorching Dragonfire is going to take care of that army token, made it a better target for him. And gets in for a bunch of damage, down to 7 he goes, and here comes the General's Enforcer.
Here's going to be some big scries, Alias.
Oh, yes. All right.
Oh, my.
Storm's Wrath or bust. Let's go.
This is Alan Wu's tournament on the line right now. Scrying a couple cards at a time. You can do an upkeep scry, but to maximize the amount of mana to, you know, have something like a lethal explosion, you are incentivized to not do that. 2 on the bottom. Oh, no.
Scorching Dragonfire once again. Uro is getting on in there. What do we find? It's another land off the top of the library. That's not what he wanted to find.
I'm pretty surprised that we didn't get a scry before that Uro attack, personally. But really just trying to swing for the fences, I guess, and hope to get an expansion explosion.
Yeah. So 9 power on the battlefield right now for Michael. Scorching Dragonfire can take care of one of those.
Yep.
We're going to see Legion Warboss possibly next turn. So just one little extra creature on the battlefield there. Attacking. Alright, it's scry time. Let's see.
I could be wrong, but General's Enforcer protects General Kudrow here from that Scorching Dragonfire. So that could be a pretty nice play against this.
See what we find on top. There's the Storm's Wrath. Okay.
Oh my.
Can we survive a turn? I believe the answer is yes. Let's get Kudrow down. General's Enforcer gonna get got by this Scorching Dragonfire. Into exile you go. Here comes Kudrow, exiling one of these Scorching Dragonfires, so no great target there for him.
Oh man,
this is gonna be brutal.
Gonna come back from this?
It looks like it, with an active Uro going. Scorching Dragonfire is going to take care of this battlefield. No indestructible effects right now, so there goes the battlefield. There's the concession. Alan Wu survives. Look how relieved he is.
Wow, that was unreal.
Oh, man.
One of Wrath effect that actually dealt with that board. The Flame Sweep was not going to do it. That was the only thing that Alan could draw in that situation. Impressive.
Oh, man. Castle Vantress just showing how important it is in this matchup.
Yeah, and just in the deck, I mean,
Yeah.
it is night and day when you run out of resources and you have a player that has Castle Vantress and a player that doesn't. It is just night and day the difference that land makes.
And my heart is pounding for Alan. You can just see his face there, just like, whew. All right, let's go. Game number 3. Everything to play for here, friends. If you're just joining us, it is Alan Wu, Michael Jacob, Team of Reclamation versus Mardu Winota, and that is a very nice looking hand there. Kind of saw him chuck his arms up. He's just like, sure, okay. I mean, I think that looks pretty good.
All right, keeps from both players for the final game. Winner moves on. Loser is going home. Metaphorically, because they're already home, but...
Let's get things going here. Selfless Savior down on the battlefield. Temple of Mysteries scrying there for Alan. He's got a pretty good looking hand there. Elder Gogoroth has been pretty solid too in this list. A good addition from M21 that can, you know, shut the door on a lot of these aggressive decks if he gets it down in time.
That was an insane draw from Michael Jacob. Michael Jacob gets to look at Alan Wu's hand, make sure the coast is clear for this raise alarm or raise the alarm into Venerated Loxodon play, which is just going to be so powerful if it's not interacted with.
Yep. I love taking the Ether Gust there too. You know, he doesn't have one out at the moment, but Alan Wu doesn't know that.
Yeah, something like a Scorching Dragonfire here, Alan Wu was just praying for it because you can break up that Venerated Loxodon turn. Not the case. Not the case at all. And here we go.
It's Convoking time, baby. Here comes the Venerated Loxodon. Let's buff up this team. Talk about an anthem effect that just, you know, it's kind of permanent. It's great.
I think Michael Jacob just did the powder in your hand kind of LeBron move above his head. That was was nice to watch.
Certainly is very animated here. As unfortunately, Alan Wu just finds a land for the top of the library, so likely going to scry or get a tiny shark in the way. Either way, we will see an extra card off the top here. What is it? He's going to hope that it's a Storm's Wrath, I bet.
It is never easy because we are once again at a situation where Storm's Wrath basically ends this game. It's a little different this time because we have the Selfless Savior to save a Loxodon, but 4 damage from that Loxodon. It's not 5, believe it or not.
Indeed. Here we're going to see Shark Typhoon cycled. Just the little idiot in the way was Baby Shark. And another land off the top there. Growth Spiral too. This is just so disappointing here for Alan. This library just not behaving. Finding no interaction off the top of the library here.
Yeah, now you have a choice. Do you just Growth Spiral during your main phase to try to find something like Uro? No, Uro's not even enough as well. Yeah, since that's not an out, you might as well Wilderness Reclamation, untap, Growth Spiral, and try to find some interaction, but I don't even think a Scorching Dragonfire is enough.
I don't think so. Bowser's Lieutenant coming on down now, so any board wipe effect that could hit is just going to be null and void. This attack here is going to be backbreaking.
I think it's just
just lethal,
I think it's just lethal. I don't think there is a single card in Alan Wu's deck that he can Growth Spiral into. And that's game.
Got a Brazen Borrower, we could possibly do that, but here we go. Big ol' swinging. Unfortunately, nothing there for Alan Wu and Michael Jacob. You can see it. Fingers crossed, fist pump. He knows it. He is still alive in this, and he has eliminated Alan Wu from the competition. Congratulations, Michael Jacob. Mardu does it again.
Yeah, that is definitely more the way that Michael Jacob drew this up, and everything kind of, you know, was just very smooth compared to the first time they met, where it was quite the opposite.
It was quite the opposite. So finally getting the results that he needed with this list. He built this deck to target these reclamation lists, and it paid off for him. So we're going to hear from Michael Jacob right now.
I am here once again with Michael Jacobs. There are no brakes on the MJ train, mate. You have been tearing it up. You got to be happy with that once again.
Yeah, I can't believe I won on the draw game 1. That was pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with the secretly black-white deck against all the Ether Gusts, I guess.
And Winota seems to be taking a bit of a back seat here. There's a new hero in town in your deck, isn't there?
Yeah. All these games are just like broken, busted openings with Loxodon, and Winota's just nowhere to be found. Yeah.
Secretly, Mardu elephants rather than Mardu Winota. Now, I want to let you know something. If you want to win this entire tournament, right, you've already played against the three of the four non-reclamation decks in the top 8, right? Sorry, 2 of the other ones. If you want to win this entire thing and take home the trophy, you also have to beat Riku Kumagai at some point, who is playing the other non-reclamation deck. You beat this deck you built this deck to beat reclamation, but you're beating everything else as well. What's going on there, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why the mono white creature deck actually ended up doing quite well in I think it was it Red Bull Open? I'm not sure. It like won in a field full of reclamation. It was because it was a Loxodon deck, and but the rest of the cards were really bad. So I just took out all the bad cards, which happened to be all the basic planes and the white creatures, and kept their raising alarms and put it into Winota.
And put in all the good cards instead. Wow, a world-beating strategy there for MJ. Take out the bad cards, put in the good ones. Well, mate,
yeah.
Look, the wind well and truly in your sails here. And as we approach the spiky end of this top 8, you got to be feeling good about your chances. Thanks very much once again for joining us, and the very best of luck to you for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Oh man, Michael is he's just so great to watch and listen to. So he's been an absolute pleasure this whole weekend. But his weekend is not over yet, as he waits to see who his opponent is going to be between Christoph Prince and Riku Kumagai. That matchup is coming up very, very soon. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after this. Castle Vantress Scry, 1 top, 1 bottom.
In theory, the wolf can block the Nightpack Ambusher, but I don't know what he can draw now. Let's see, 6, 18 mana, not enough to even just YOLO Explosion for lethal. He's going to be up against 4 creatures at 1 life. Maybe if he had Storm's Wrath.
He finds an Expansion Explosion. I don't think that's going to get the job done here, not with so few lands in play.
Well, it has to involve, like, let's suppose he cast it for 5 and then drew 3 Aether Gusts or something. Like, that's
his only out here.
Yeah, something of that nature. Maybe he'll cast it for 4 and try to draw 3 Aether Gusts. But he has to still draw 3 answers to all this stuff.
Yeah. But here we go. Explosion on the stack. Trying to get rid of the Nightpack Ambusher. Mystical Dispute. Negate that.
Save a mana, but I don't know. I don't think he can even. I think 5 mana is not enough, even with perfect draws. I think you need 6. I think it's 2 per wolf in the best case.
And such a tough position here for Dominic, not finding anything proactive, just a handful of nopes, and Elias took full advantage of that. Here's another negate. A second negate to negate the negate. Nopes upon nopes on the stack right now. And finally, Explosion resolves. Doesn't find anything useful. Blast Zone, gonna blow up some stuff. There goes Dominic. So congratulations to Elias Watsfeld, our winner here of Players Tour Online #1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the virtual news desk here at the Players Tour Finals. Marie Bertholdi with Cedric Phillips and Riley Knight here, and we've got the upper finals in our sight after that last match. Let's look at our bracket and find out where we're heading as we barrel through the top 8 today. And Cedric, we are nearing the end of the tournament here. So far, what are the major highlights for you?
The major highlight is the person who just won once again, that Riley is just doing interview after interview after interview with. Michael Jacob, baby! Let's talk about it. Mardu Winota, was it a flash in the pan? Did MJ get lucky in, I guess, 14 rounds of Swiss, which would be a lot of rounds to get lucky in? No! He's on to the finals of the lower bracket. So, oddly enough, he's the one waiting now for his next opponent, which we're going to work on figuring out right now.
I know, it's unbelievable. Riley, you must have interviewed Michael Jacob 5 times today?
I mean, I may as well just, leave him on bloody Discord speed dial. I'm getting in touch with him that much. It's been, look, it's been fantastic to catch up with him. Obviously, he's got the heart of a champion. And again, I just want to come back to what I said before. He's just got a really positive attitude. He's having the time of his life. I mean, obviously, you're going to have fun. You're winning a lot of games of Magic, but you know, he seems to have really struck the balance between being super dialed in, you know, playing really well, running really hot, but also just having the time of his life. And he seems cool, he seems calm, he seems collected. And now he gets a little bit of time off. He gets to sit there, kick back, relax, you know, maybe rehydrate, have a little snack or two, and just chill out a bit until his next opponent is decided. Of course, he's got to win out. Doesn't have any more matches to lose, unlike our next game here, next match between Riku Kumagai and Christoph Prinz. But MJ in a great spot, both when it comes to games of Magic, also psychologically. So expect further greatness from him in the coming games.
Thanks, Riley. Well, you're watching Magic today. We've got the top 8, but guess what? We're not done. There's going to be some more awesome Magic to check out tomorrow, too, for Loading Ready Runs pre-release, one of my favorite events to happen in Magic. It'll be a Masters series like no other, and it's right around the corner. Tune in Sunday for the Double Masters pre-release, brought to you by the gang at Loading Ready Run. The action starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/Loading Ready Run. Double Masters is available on Magic Online August 6th with a tabletop release on August 7th. Okay, there we go. It is time for our feature match here in the upper finals. So once again, let's meet our players who have been hanging out for a while we worked our way through the lower bracket. Their chance is now coming up. Christoph Prinz versus Riku Kumagai. Christoph Prinz running 4-color Reclamation, the deck that was brought to the tournament to beat Temur Reclamation. Going to face some mono black aggro in the hands of Riku Kumagai. But how did Christoph Prinz get to be where he is today in the top 8? We're going to find out by getting a little bit of a taste of some highlights of him.
Really incredible to see the performance that Christoph Prinz has put on this weekend, not just with his deck choice, but also the plays that he put together with a list that really was here to take down the established best deck in the format. I mean, it's a twist on an established archetype. The White Splash is designed to, you know, power out cards like Teferi, which really takes down Wilderness Reclamation, you know, coming and going. But just the breadth of matchups he's had to face in this tournament, and the fact that he put together an incredible 9-0 streak during the Swiss there, he's been rewarded for his persistence, and he's done extremely well. Here you can see taking down Christopher Larson after Larson's Bolus Citadel didn't quite get there for him. Kenrith the Return King doing all sorts of work coming out of the sideboard, I believe, or maybe in the main deck even for Christoph Prinz. We've seen some incredible innovation from the German here. And look, if he can keep the wind in his sails, once again, he's looking at a big old trophy and a stack of cash. So I know that many Europeans, many Germans will be watching, glued to the coverage, and hoping for his sake he does very well.
Well, let's meet his deck list once again after kind of a break that we haven't seen him since earlier this morning here. And he's playing 4-color Reclamation. Cedric, in this matchup versus Mono Black aggro, does he have extra tools to deal with that kind of deck that a normal teamer list wouldn't?
He does not. This is going to be difficult. This is why Riku brought this deck, you know, to tear apart Reclamation strategies. Look, if Prinz is able to win this tournament, it is going to be the ultimate I told you so with Reclamation strategies, and more important, with 4-color Reclamation strategies, because these are 2 decks in Mono Black Aggro and Mardu Wynota that are here to tear this strategy apart.
All right, well, he needs an opponent, and that opponent is Riku Kumagai. We're going to see how he got to where he is today in the top 8. We're going to see some highlights here from Riku Kumagai earlier today, the upper bracket quarterfinals.
Once again, this deck, exactly as Cedric said, there is designed to tear apart any opposing Reclamation strategies, but it also did very well against Raphael Levy earlier on. You saw Raph had a pretty rough draw, and Kumagai had the exact opposite of that, with multiple pieces of hand disruption, some hard-hitting threats, and a rally there from Raph with Brazen Borrower. Not enough after Spawn of Mayhem, Hunted Nightmare, and ultimately a Heartless Act on a token, allowing a lethal attack to come across. In the semis also, a very strong performance put on from the Japanese player here with his mono black deck. This time in the matchup that he'd prepared for and expected. The Team of Reclamation deck in the piloted by Alan Wu was not equal to the task, and after a flurry of early creatures, you can see that massive Knight of the Ebon Legion getting in for a huge stack of damage. But a key card in this matchup, of course, is that card you see there on the right, Kitesail Freebooter. This deck is light on interaction, and having a creature that acts sort of as an interactive spell, as a piece of disruption, is just massive, especially in these slower matchups.
Cedric, does Riku Kumagai, is he just unstoppable in this matchup here? What do you think?
Look, this is why he brought the deck to the tournament, and it has worked out masterfully for him. And I just look at the deck list, and I see a player here that not only is this matchup better than this is a better matchup than playing against Team of Reclamation, because these 4-color Reclamation versions have less interaction against aggressive strategies. They've actually cut that interaction to be better against the Reclamation mirror. So in theory, this should actually be easier, and he's already bulldozed his way through plenty of other Reclamation strategies. So for me, I mean, how do you pick against this deck? This is what he wants. This is exactly what he wants, maybe even more so than normal.
Well, neither of these players have done any losing yet today, but one of them must by the end of this match. They will go to the lower finals. The winner goes on to the championship match. It's coming your way in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.
And a punishing one too. Inverter of Truth and 2 copies of Jace as well. This is tough here for Glogowski.
There's a huge crowd next to that. You could see the audible, oh.
Yep. You can hear them just off camera there like that. They're on a slight delay so as not to alert the players as to what's going on. And you could hear that was a big whiff. A big whiff.
We're not out of the woods yet.
Not out of the woods.
This is Plan Z.
There's a plan. We're all the way down to Plan Z.
Plan Z.
Plan Z. All right. So Thief of Sanity, of course, can still flip something cool off the top of Larsson's library, but he's on a comfortable 27. And Glogowski has kind of moved away from that 1-2 punch territory there without really being able to stitch together his primary game plan. Thought Seize reveals a mystical dispute.
Irrelevant.
That disputation has been put to bed. Did he find Emrakul off the top of Larsson's library?
He doesn't have a graveyard, so he can't really make it cheaper. And Emrakul costs 13.
Yeah, you need 4 more lands.
Yeah.
That's way too much. Yes.
Ambitious.
It's not the promised end of this matchup, at least here. All right. 4 blocks. Will we see the Murderous Rider? Puts the land into play. Another clue token. Not going to miss that.
Before blockers.
Before blocks.
He's lining up 3
1,
mana.
2, 3 mana.
Yeah, 2 of them are black.
Swift End. Here it comes. This is going to win Yoel Larsson the Players Tour Final. Saturday Wayfinder, the only blocker available. Crack a clue. Put a counter on the Tireless Tracker. And that is the game. Yoel Larsson has seen it. Everyone has seen it. Glogowski has seen it. And that is that. The champion of Players Tour Europe is the Swedish superstar, Yoel Larsson. What a performance from him. Oh, my goodness.